Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Emre. Today this is going to be a very special video for my channel, for myself and for you as well, hopefully. Because this video is going to be about making stuffed vine leaves, or in Turkish words, sarma. This is a very well known, very common, very prestigious, very beloved recipe. So when the situation is like this, the ingredients and the way of making it does not only differ from city to city in Turkey, but also home to home, believe me. But anyways, the most common, the most well-known recipe of it is done with the stuffing in my dolma video. So this humble way that I'm gonna try to show you today is mostly used and made when you wanna get a little fancy, stylish and different than the common one. So I hope you're going to like it. If you're ready, if you're curious about it, let's go see how to make it. What we need to start with is the roasting. What we are going to roast, first of all, the peanuts. Only 1 tablespoon of peanuts we are going to use, and that's what I have here in the jar. So I am going to turn on my stove. I'm going to wait for only a few minutes until my pan is hot. Then I'm going to start roasting the pinon. The reason why is that when you put actually any kind of nuts into a hot pan, they are going to release their sugar and their oil, so it's going to make them even more delicious than they already are. So this is hot enough right now. I am gonna directly put the pinon into this pan. I'm gonna roast them for approximately 5 minutes over middle heat. When I see the golden brown color around them and some like oil, as if I put oil even though I didn't, I am going to understand that it's enough for them to be roasted. And of course, in the meantime, I'm gonna shake them a little so they can get the color equally. Right now it really smells divine in here. It means that I can show them to you. Look how they became oily and their color has changed. So it means that it's time to add the onions. But before adding the onions, what I'm going to do, because roasting the onions, I'm going to need some additional oil. So I'm going to add 2.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Wait only for 20 seconds. Add 1 large onion that I chopped finely. This is really important. You can also grate them if you want, but chopping is the best one. But chopping is the best technique for onions, because when you chop them, they are not going to release their juice, their water. But also they are going to be super small when you chop them finely like this, so it's amazing. So give them a mix. And what I'm going to do is just to lower the heat as low as possible. Actually doing this, I'm not trying actually to like roast them, cook them. What I'm trying to do is to make them sweat, release their juice, release their water. Well, I know that 2 seconds ago I said they shouldn't release their water, but it's when they are raw that they shouldn't release their water. But while cooking, releasing their water means that getting the maximum that the onion can give us. So it's really important. I lowered the heat as much as I could. It's almost like a candle now, so I'm gonna continue cooking them like this for approximately 10 minutes until they're super soft, until they're super transparent, but not brown or caramelized at all. As you can see, they are perfectly soft and transparent right now, I mean the onions, and the only brown thing inside is the pinon. So I'm gonna continue with the other ingredients. The other ingredients are half a cup of rice. This is baldo rice, which is like the most typical Turkish rice that is also used for pilav and so many other Turkish ingredients. I know in so many markets, even if it's not a Turkish market, you can find it, but actually you can use any different kind of rice that you have in your house. But then you need to be careful about the water, because every different type of rice requires different measurements of water. So I put the rice, I'm just gonna give them a mix. Then I'm gonna turn off my stove. I'm not trying to cook it, I'm not trying to roast it, but I'm just trying to heat the rice. This is what we are looking for. By the way, I forgot to tell you about another step about the rice. I soak them in water. Well, traditionally most of the people do not soak the rice in water unless they are going to make pilaf. But for me, anytime I'm going to use rice, I need to make it release its starch and sort of soften it, even if it's only for 20 minutes with cool water. I like to do that. But as I said, it's not the most traditional thing. I do it, you don't have to do it. But what you have to do it is to rinse, is to wash the rice very very well under running water for at least 10 minutes. So I soaked it in water and I also washed it under running tap water. The next ingredient comes, which is 1 tablespoon of blackcurrant, I forgot its name. So it's either blackcurrant or blackcurrant, something like that. I'm sorry about it. 1 tablespoon. This, as you know, it's super hard, almost like a stone. So I soaked it in hot water for 10 minutes as well. But only 10 minutes is enough. And the other 2 ingredients, of course, is the herbs, which is a must-have ingredient in Turkish cuisine for any kind of stuffed recipes. So what I have here is 15 stalks of parsley that I finely chopped, and also only 2 small stalks of dill that I also finely chopped. And now I am going to continue with the spices. Well, we cannot think of a sarma or any kind of stuffed recipe without this delicious and perfect spices. The first of all is allspice. I have only just a little left because I love it. I love it. It is one of the best, if it's not the best spice in the world, which is allspice. It's very special, it's very rare, you cannot use it with anything, but with rice and this kind of white things, it's amazing. The difference that it gives to the recipe that you added in, the texture, the taste, everything is amazing. If you haven't made it, if you haven't used it at all, please go find some and try it. You're gonna thank me later. And you're welcome in advance. The next spice I'm going to use is just a little bit of cinnamon powder, but only like half a tablespoon. This is just to balance everything. But if you like it very much, you're of course free to use how much you want. Of course, some black pepper, like a pinch, let's say, and of course some salt and cumin as much as the cinnamon. So just like 1 small pinch. I'm afraid it's not just a little. 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. This is very very essential. I'm gonna give them a proper mix, and the filling or the stuffing is going to be ready. What I have here is some vine leaves that my mom sort of canned them like this into this plastic bottle with some salt. These are quite fresh, these are quite small, coming from our own garden in my motherland Izmir. I'm gonna show one of them to you because there are a lot of different kinds of vine leaves out there. The kind that you and I need is this small type, which, see how small it is, which doesn't have so much, I don't know what it's exactly called in English, but in Turkish we call them the veins of the leaves, these parts. They shouldn't be too thick. Actually, they shouldn't be thicker than this, so that they are going to give us the best results. But especially if you are watching from Europe and America, I know that you are not going to be able to find these fresh vine leaves. But what you can find is the Arab, the Greek and the Turkish markets. The vine leaves that are soaked in vinegar, salt and sometimes in lemon, which is almost like a pickle. But they're actually a little too big. So what you can do is to take them and remove some of that thick veins, so you can turn it into something more proper. Because these are not soaked in vinegar or anything else, they were just stuffed in the plastic bottle with some salt. So I need to pre-cook them, but because they are so fresh and thin and so delicate, I am going to boil them only for 5 minutes until they are like half the way soft, and I'm gonna remove them. But if you have those that are soaked in vinegar, lemon and salt, what you need to do is to put them in cold water for at least 2 hours, so they are going to release that extreme salt, and then you are going to again boil them in hot water for only 5 minutes. It's been 3 minutes, so for another 3 or 2 minutes I'm gonna flip them over so they are gonna cook equally. Right now we are done with all the preparations, so what comes next actually is the hard part. Well, it's not a hard part, but it's always called like, oh my god, the toughest thing in the Turkish cuisine or something like that. But actually it's not tough. if you watch and listen to it carefully when somebody is teaching it to you, you are going to be perfectly fine. But the thing is, it takes so much time. So let's start now. So what I have here is my cast iron pan, which of course gives the best result for any kind of stuffed or filled recipes. But what I'm going to do is just to put some of the vine leaves on the ground, so if things go wrong, the sarma is not going to stick. I can literally start rolling it. Well, the verb should really be rolling, because the word sarma literally means rolled. It can have so many different ingredients, especially so many different stuffings. Like it can be with meat, it can be without rice, it can be only with bulgur. So many different kinds. So what I did is I put one of the leaves here. I make sure that it stands properly. So from the stuffing, I'm going to take only half a dessert spoon. So we can say that approximately it's 1 teaspoon. I'm going to put it in the middle. Don't worry, you are going to see this close up. So I'm going to spread it around as a tiny line. I am going to fold this part that is closer to me over the rice. I am going to fold it from the edges inside, like this. So we can make sure that the rice is not going to come out as they cook. And I roll it. And put it in the pot. That's all. By the way, this part with the veins should stay inside. So I put them over the stove. The stove is not on right now because I need to put some more olive oil, like 1.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, so they're not going to get dry. And I know this recipe has so much oil, but when we put this much oil, they're not going to get dry, and they're going to get the perfect texture and the taste of olive oil. A pinch of salt. I'm using rock salt again. By the way, if I didn't count them wrong, I've got 70 stuffed vine leaves here. So this is a perfect measurement for this many sarma. But if you want to do it more, of course you can do it more. You can double it, you can triple it. I'm gonna add the water. How much? 2 times more than the rice I put. So, which means that 1 cup. But as I said before, it can differ from the kind of rice to rice that you are using, so you need to be careful about it. For instance, if you use jasmine rice, it's going to need more water. If you use the risotto rice, which is arborio, then approximately the same measurements will be enough. And another thing I'm going to do is to put a plate upside down over the sarma and press on them a little like this. So doing this, we are going to make sure that the rolled vine leaves are not going to open during cooking. And the second thing, that we are going to provide them staying under the water, so they're not going to get dry, and all of them are going to be cooked equally and perfectly. So I'm gonna turn on my stove now. And I forgot to show you one little thing. I'm so sorry about it. What I'm going to do, of course, this is a very Mediterranean recipe. All the spices, all the herbs that we put inside are going to go perfect with what? Some lemon juice. So I am going to squeeze half of 1 lemon inside, directly the juice. If you also have some pomegranate sour, which is a magical sauce from Turkish cuisine, you can definitely use 2 tablespoons from it. But I just want to use lemon juice, so it can be available and accessible for everyone. And the other half of the lemon, I'm gonna slice it and put it on sarma. And now it's perfectly ready. And close the lid and cook them for 50 minutes, so see you there. I've served them in this plate. I put them into a shape of a pyramid, whatever it is. I squeezed some extra fresh lemon juice and I put some additional black currants as well, so they look nice. So I hope you like this recipe. If you do, you can like this video and you can subscribe to my channel for free. So thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.